Every sheet pan dinner I've ever made had the same problem. Either the chicken is done and the potatoes are still hard in the middle, or the vegetables are perfectly caramelized and the chicken is dry and overcooked. There's no way to win unless you know about the pot roast. This means the vegetables go in first alone for 20 minutes, then everything else joins the party and it all comes out at the exact same time. Crispy skin, caramelized edges on every single vegetable. This is the same technique behind the roasted vegetables video I did, and it works just as well when you add chicken. We're going to start off by cleaning up our Brussels sprouts. Just cut the end off and cut those in half lengthwise. Then we're going to cut those baby red potatoes into quarters. This is pretty quick and simple. What you're looking for is a uniform size on most of your vegetables. So you'll see the carrots are chunked up about the same. The onions will cook really quickly, that's why I left those in quarters. Now we're going to add half of our oil mixture. This is because we're only doing the hard root vegetables first, the ones that need the most time. So that oven is preheating up to 400 degrees. We're going to place all these vegetables down. What you want is room to breathe. You want that air to be able to circulate around them. The oil on the vegetable and the salt, that's what helps give it that crisp texture. So we're going to make sure those are all fully coated. We're going to give those room, and that heat will transfer through the oil into the vegetables. We're also going to place those Brussels sprouts face down. This is going to help give them the best texture and the best cook. So while those are in the oven, we can finish with the rest of our vegetables, making sure we get those cut up. With the mushrooms, we're just going to cut those in half and cut that little end off as well. A whole lemon, you're thinking, why do you need that? We're going to put half of that aside for the juice, and then we're going to do thin slices for the rest of it. You'll see when I put this on with the chicken how this is going to just boost the flavor, makes it amazing. Chicken thighs are the best option here. Because chicken thighs contain roughly twice the fat of chicken breasts, the fat melts and bastes the meat from the inside during cooking, which is why thighs stay juicy even at high temperatures. A chicken breast dries out at about 165 and keeps drying as it sits, whereas a thigh at 175 is still most moist because the fat is still there. For sheet pan cooking, where the oven does the timing, thighs are very forgiving choice, and they're the most tasty in my opinion. So I'm just going to remove the bone and any excess skin or fat globs. This is very simple. I'm going to keep those bones and skin for like a future stock. So I'll put those in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. Now this is very important. To get a crispy skin, it needs to be a dry skin. I'm going to dry off this chicken as best I can with a paper towel. Uh, just wipe that down good. Then we're going to liberally season this with salt and pepper. As we come up on the 20-minute mark, it's time to get the rest of the vegetables ready. I don't need that whole half onion in there, so I'm going to put my red peppers, whole garlic cloves, broccoli florets, the rest of my seasoning oil on there, and I'm going to give that a good toss. Here in a moment, I'll pull that sheet pan out, give everything a good toss, and add the new stuff. A whole garlic clove roasted in oil undergoes a Maillard reaction on the outside, while the inside converts its sharp allicin compounds, the ones responsible for garlic's bite, into sweeter, nuttier, aromatic molecules. The result is a clove that's creamy, almost spreadable, and has none of the harsh edge of raw garlic. You can eat it whole directly off the pan. This is one of my favorite bits, actually. So we're going to just move those vegetables around. Some of the oils have come off of them. We want this new additional vegetable addition with the oils on there. We're going to spread that out. Again, we want to give them a little bit of room if we can, but our sheet pan is pretty full. So now we're going to go ahead and add the chicken. What I'm going to do is place a couple of sprigs of rosemary down and then a couple of slices of that lemon. And that's going to go directly under the chicken. This is going to give that amazing flavor from below as it cooks. And because I'm leaving the top of that chicken dry, that skin is going to crisp up and get delicious. The rest of the rosemary can just be spread out throughout. This is going to release oils and it's going to mix with the vegetables. Same thing with the rest of the lemon slices. You can see I've picked out a couple of those whole garlic cloves and shoved those in between the chicken. As those roast, those are going to impart that flavoring all over those as well. The oil doesn't just add flavor, it transfers heat. Vegetables have irregular surfaces full of tiny air pockets, and the air is terrible at conducting heat. Oil fills those pockets and creates direct contact between the oven's heat and the vegetable surface. At this point, I'm going to remove that chicken just to get a final crisp on these veggies. Because the chicken needs about 10 minutes of rest for the liquids and everything to redistribute, this is a good method for getting it all out of there. As you can see, all of my vegetables are already at that crispy stage. I just left them in an additional 6 or 7 minutes just to get a final crisp on things, and they turned out delightful. The lemon smell with that rosemary and everything that's cooked, the carrots were not mushy. They had a good hard texture, and you can see that those mushrooms cooked down. Broccoli got a nice char on it. Everything was just smelling very good. You can remove those rosemary sprigs. They're edible, but it's a little bit chewy. And I like that whole big chunk of onion. And I like to finish with a little squeeze of some lemon juice. And because this kind of has a Mediterranean flair, I'll add a little bit of feta cheese and a drizzle of balsamic vinegar reduction. This is beginner-friendly cooking that doesn't taste beginner-friendly. The par roast does the timing for you, the vegetables do all the visual work, and the chicken is the co-host. Try this out sometime. It turned out amazing, and as always, hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day.